Hey guys, and welcome to the Command Tower. We make EDH Deck Techs. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, check out our TCG player affiliate link in the description below. If you use it, it really helps us out a lot. Today's deck is a Svella Ice Shaper deck. Svella is a 2/4 that says you pay 3, tap it, create a colorless snow artifact token named Icy Manolith. With tap it, add 1 mana of your color. If you pay 8 and tap it, you look to the top 4 cards of your library. You can cast a spell from among them without paying its mana cost. You put the rest in the bottom of your library in a random order. So basically, we're going to get our commander out really early, and we're going to ramp a lot with her, and then we're going to play really big creature spells. And then we're just going to take the game. Total price of this deck is $34.38. This is according to TCG Player, and does not include the price of basic lands. So let's get right into the deck. First off, we got ramp. And since our commander is 3 mana, we're going to play a lot of turn 1 ramp, so then we can play her turn 2. And turn 3, we can use her ability to make a Manolith. Llanowar Elves, Elvish Mystic, and Vindhorn Elves all do the same thing, they tap for green. Arbor Elf, you tap and untap a forest. Arboreal Grazer, reach, when it enters the battlefield, you can put a land card from your hand on the battlefield tapped. Wild Growth, you channel land, whenever enchant land is tapped, you get additional green mana. Mild Cancer, which may not seem that good because you sacrifice it and you get 1 mana of your color, but to play your commander turn 2 is going to be really useful. Elysian Caryatid, taps for 1 mana of your color, but if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you get 2 mana. Map the Waste, search your library for basic land, put it on the battlefield, tapped, then shuffle your library and bolster 1, so you can get a 1/1 counter on your big creatures. Frontier Siege, when it enters battlefield, you choose Khans or Dragons. You're probably going to choose Khans. At the beginning of your main phase, you add 2 green to your mana pool, or Dragons, whenever a creature with flying enters battlefield under your control, you can have it fight target creature you don't control. So when you choose Khans, you can use that mana on your commander to get more manaless. Blink Moth Urn, at the beginning of each player's pre-combat main phase, if it's untapped, that player adds a colorless mana for each artifact you control. So you're going to make a lot of manaless, and you're going to get a lot of colorless mana. Nissa's Renewal, search your library up to 3 land cards, put them on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library and you gain 7 life. So, if you ramp a lot, you can play this and get 3 lands, which is going to be super useful. Or if you use your commander's second ability, this is a good card that you can play with it. Then we got some cards that can untap your commander so you can make more manaless. Instill Energy, enchanted creature has haste. You pay 0, you can untap enchanted creature, but only do that during your turn, and once each turn. Nature's Chosen is basically the same thing, but it doesn't give it haste, and it has a second ability, but that ability doesn't matter. Seeker of the Skybreak, you tap it to untap target creature. Vitalize, you untap all creatures you control. And then Puppet Strings, pay 2 and tap it, you can tap or untap target creature. Then we got some cards that are going to work off of you making a bunch of manaless. Darksteel Juggernaut, indestructible, and its power and toughness equal the number of artifacts you control, and attacks each combat available. Shambling Suit, its power is equal to the number of artifacts and or enchantments you control. And Fathom Fleet Swordjack, when it attacks, it deals damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking, equal number of artifacts you control, and is Encore for 6. And then Second Harvest, which is probably one of the best cards on the deck, because for each token you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. Now your mana lists are tokens, so you make a bunch of mana lists, and then you're going to double the amount you have, and you're going to have a ton of mana. But then we got a bunch of giant creatures that you can play with all your mana. But the best part about this part is that you can choose what creatures you put in the deck here. These are just creatures that I liked, but they could be easily changed. Sandworm Convergence, creatures of flying can attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of your end step, you create a 5/5 worm. Giant Adaphage, Trample, when it deals combat damage to a player, create a token that's a copy of it. Palaka Worm, Trample, when it enters the battlefield, you gain 7 life. When it dies, you draw a card. Hamletback Goliath, whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you can put X1 counters on it, where X is that creature's power. And I've played with this card before, and it gets a giant very fast. Artisan of Kozilek, when you cast a spell, you can return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. And with your commander's ability, you do cast it for free. So you can get this spell on the battlefield for free, and another one. And then it has Annihilator too. Engulfing Slagworm. Whenever it blocks, it becomes blocked by a creature. You destroy that creature and gain life equal to that creature's toughness. Aggressive Mammoth. Trample. Other creatures you control have Trample. Verdant Sun's Avatar. Whenever it or another creature in its battlefield under control, you can gain life equal to that creature's toughness. So a lot of big creatures are going to enter the battlefield, so you're gaining a lot of life. Zerta Ancient. Whenever a player taps a land for mana, that player adds 1 mana to his or her mana pool of any type that land produces. So you can use that mana to get even more stuff on the battlefield. Savage Ventmaw. Flying. When it attacks, you add 3 red and 3 green. Until on a turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phase ends. So, using this, you can help get more manaless, or use your commander's ability, or play more creatures. Archetype of Durance. Creatures you control have hexproof, and creatures opponents control lose hexproof and can't have or gain hexproof. Champion of Ronas. You can exert it when it attacks. If you do, you may put a creature card from your hand on the battlefield, so you can just cheat a really big creature out for free. And then See the Unwritten. Reveal the top 8 cards of your library, and you can put a creature card from among them on the battlefield. Put the rest in your graveyard. And then it has Ferocious. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you can put 2 creature cards on the battlefield instead of 1. Then we got a couple cards that it can either make your creatures bigger, or give them some abilities. Fires of Yavimea. Creatures you control have haste, and if you sacrifice it, target creature gets +2/+2 on a turn. So you can play a really big creature and attack with it out of nowhere. Berserker's Onslaught. Attacking creatures you control have double strike, which is going to help you deal a ton of extra damage. Street Riot. As long as it's your turn, creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample. And then Might Makes Right. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if you control each creature on the battlefield to greatest power, you gain control of target creature your opponent controls until on a turn. Untap that creature and it gains haste. So you're going to have some very big creatures, and then you're just going to get more creatures from your opponent. Then we got some card advantage. Garruk's Uprising. When enters the battlefield, if you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you draw a card. And creatures you control trample. And whenever a creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under your control, you draw a card. This is a very good card, because you're going to be drawing a ton of cards off this, and giving your creatures trample is going to be very useful. Colossal Majesty. At the beginning of your upkeep, you control a creature with power 4 or greater, you draw a card. Elemental Bond. Whenever a creature with power 3 or greater in its battlefield under your control, you draw a card. Lifecaster's Bestiary. At the beginning of your upkeep, you scry 1. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you can pay green to draw a card. Momentous Fall. As additional cost to cast a spell, you sacrifice a creature. You draw cards equal to sacrifice creature's power, and then gain life equal to toughness. So, you can have some very big creatures, and this is just going to refill your hand, and it gets you life. Idol of Oblivion. Tap the draw card, but only if you create a token this turn. And you pay 8, tap it, sacrifice it, create a 10/10 Eldrazi. So basically, you're going to create the Manalith tokens, so you can draw a card from that. Or you can make a giant creature. Staff of Nin. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card. Tap it, deal with 1 damage to your target. This is Revelation. Scry 5, then reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, you can draw cards equal to its power, and gain life equal to toughness. Then Harmonize, just draw 3 cards. And then Lore Seeker's Stone. Pay 3, tap it, draw 3 cards, but the ability costs 1 more to activate for each card in your hand. Then we got some removal. Gruul Rage Beast. Whenever it or another creature in its battlefield under control, that creature fights target creature opponent controls. So all your really big creatures are going to fight your opponent's creatures. Thorn Mammoth. Trample. When it or another creature in its battlefield under control, it fights up to 1 target creature you control. So kind of the same thing. Terastodon. When it enters battlefield, you can destroy up to 3 target non-creature permanents. For each permanent just put into a graveyard this way, its controller creates a 3/3 elephant. Magmatic Force. At the beginning of each upkeep, does 3 damage to any target, so you can hit its opponent's creatures, and also a really big creature itself. Thunder Shaman. It can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, destroy target artifact or enchantment that player controls. Then targets on Sealing. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 4, 5, or 6, it deals 4 damage to target. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 7 or greater, it deals 4 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control, which is going to hurt your opponents a lot. Where Ancient Dread. Whenever a creature with power 5 or greater in this battlefield under your control, you can have it deal 5 damage to a creature or player. Banefire deals X damage to target. If X is 5 or more, the spell can't be countered, and the damage can't be prevented. So, you're going to get a lot of manaless, and you could play this for a lot of mana, and it's going to do a ton of damage, and they can't stop it. Broken Bond. Destroy your artifact or enchantment. You can put a land from your hand on the battlefield. And then Savage Twister. Deals X damage to each creature. And then Comet Storm. Has multi-kicker for 1. Choose any target, then choose another target for each time the spell is kicked. And it deals X damage to each of those. Lastly, we got lands. Gruul Guildgate. Enters battlefield tapped and taps for Gruul colors. Demogorge is the same. Rugged Highlands is the same, but you gain a life when it comes in. Kazandu Refuge also lets you gain a life. Gruul Turf enters battlefield tapped. When it enters battlefield, you turn a land you control just under his hand. Taps for both the Gruul colors. Command Tower taps for 1 mana color. Blighted Woodland taps for colorless. If you pay for it, tap it, sacrifice it. Search your library 2 basic land cards and put them on the battlefield tapped. Weird Landscape enters battlefield tapped, taps for colorless. Pay 2, tap it, sacrifice it. Search your library 2 basic land cards, share land type, put them on the battlefield tapped, and shuffle your library. Rogue's Passage taps your colorless. You pay for it, tap it. Target creature can't be blocked this turn, so you can make your giant creatures unblockable. Then Mosswort Bridge has Hideaway, enters battlefield tapped. When it does, look top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, put the rest of them in your bottom of your library. Taps for green, then you pay a green, tap it. You can play the exiled card without paying its mana cost if creatures you control have total power 10 or greater, which they probably will. Skarg the Rage Pits taps your colorless. If you play both the Gruul colors, tap it. Target creature gets +1/+1 against trampled on a turn. It's going to help you deal some extra damage. Then we've got 11 mountains and 18 forests. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great day.